Hi there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Kristen and I love to talk about all things tech and photography. I wanted to do an iPhone wrap for 2023 since I got the new iPhone 15 and I've been in love with it for the past couple months, so I just wanted to talk about a few of the features that I like and how it compares to the iPhone 12 mini that I had previously. The first thing that I wanted to touch base on was the design and aesthetic of the iPhone 15. I really do love the rounded edges. I think it makes it look so sleek, and I honestly get a lot of nostalgia vibes thinking back to the iPhone 4 and the rounded corners back then. The other thing I want to talk about is the back of the phone. I don't typically keep the phone out of the case, but there are occasions when I do like to have my phone out of the case, and the backing feels so much nicer now. It does not feel like it's going to slick and slide out of my hands, which is the one thing that I always worried about with previous iPhone versions, which is honestly why I never kept them without a case. But with this new design and the new coating on the back, I feel like I can get away with not having a case whatsoever and be completely fine. The display of the iPhone 15 is only 60 Hz, and if you do a side-by-side comparison with a 120 Hz display, you may notice the changes a little bit between the two, but for someone like me who's more of a casual phone user at the moment, I don't notice any changes, I don't notice any lag. Some of the more pro users of the phone, or those who really do a lot of work on their phone, might notice a difference and might want that little bump of power, but to me, in everyday use, it's not something that I'm really missing out on. Next thing that I want to talk about is performance. And this is the biggest seller for me going from the iPhone 12 mini over to the iPhone 15. I absolutely loved the size of my iPhone 12 mini, and I honestly did not think that I was going to be upgrading anytime soon, just because I longed for that size for the longest time, basically since the iPhone SE originally came out. But the one thing that I noticed, which was such a hindrance, was the battery life. And I'm someone who uses their phone quite a bit to watch videos or to take photos, but I noticed that I would get through maybe a good chunk of the morning or even half day, and I would be in desperate need of charging. Not saying that I'm at 40 or 50%, but I am like down to the 20s. So the one thing I really noticed was the battery life on the iPhone 15, which I know some people have said different things about, but for me, I can go from the morning to not even charging the phone overnight, so I'd still be at like 60–70%, and I can get through a good chunk of my day, and that's with using GPS, that's with listening to music or watching YouTube videos. So I'm not noticing a huge performance issue in that regard with battery life, and that has been such a great thing to have, because then I don't feel like I need to carry an extra battery along with me wherever I go. Another aspect of battery performance that I always like to check out with my new phones is the battery health percentage. I really like that Apple, from a few iterations of the iPhone up until now, they allow you to check that battery health right in the settings on your phone. And now there's even more diagnostics that you can do as a consumer on your phone that I think has been a game changer, and it's something that I like to look into to know, how am I doing? When is my peak performance of the battery? How is that overall battery health going? Do I need to maybe think of exchanging it soon or getting it repaired? And that's something that I like to have. And I noticed with the iPhone 15 compared to even my iPhone 12 mini, my battery health is staying quite high, whereas even a month or two into using my iPhone 12 mini, I was already in the 90s. Now that we've gotten a few of the technical aspects out of the way, and I didn't even go into that much detail about those, let's talk about some of the more fun features of the phone. The one feature that I want to talk about, since it's new to just the regular models and not just the Pro versions this time around, is Dynamic Island. When Dynamic Island was first introduced, I thought it was something that was more of a gimmick, something that I wouldn't really use or pay attention to, or something that might just feel like it's getting in the way while I'm trying to use my phone. But I will say I do like having the Dynamic Island. It's not that intrusive as I was once predicting it to be, so my prediction was completely wrong. And I've come to actually use it quite a bit day to day. Two of the things that I've noticed I use the Dynamic Island for, just on regular day-to-day usage, is when I stop and start music. That is a huge thing. I constantly listen to podcasts, music, YouTube videos, whatever on my phone, especially on a weekday when I'm commuting to and from work or on lunch breaks. And I like that I can just long press the dynamic island and then I can start and stop my music from there, or I can forward to a different song. Some other apps that I noticed I use quite frequently with dynamic island are timers or stopwatches. I remember back in the day, which is not even that long ago, trying to pause or restart a timer, even using my watch or even using the app on the phone itself, it was almost a hindrance to do so and made working out or doing whatever I needed to do with those timers that much more difficult. But with Dynamic Island, once again, just being able to long press and then have it show up just a little bit on the screen and being able to have access to multiple controls has been such a game changer. And it actually has motivated me even more so to work out and to not be afraid to have to figure out what I'm gonna do in between sets or if I need to restart my sets. So that was a surprise that I didn't think was gonna be a huge difference in my everyday lifestyle with Dynamic Island, but I'm glad that it is an option to use now. Some other cool things that have come to Dynamic Island because of amazing developers are more ways to customize it. This is something I haven't played around with, so I'll add in some video and some other information for these, but the one thing that I want to test out is it's either Pixel Pets or Pixel Pals. It's just this cute little animal that runs around your dynamic island, and I think you can customize it as well. I think that's just adorable. Another developer created an app where you can actually go in and create like custom shortcuts, so you can have other information displayed in the dynamic island. I tested this, but I noticed that it was very hit and miss, and I would have to restart the app in order for the information to show up in dynamic island. So things like weather, was the main thing that I had as one of my options to show up, but there's other things that you could have in there to have it displayed constantly, but it's not something that I really have taken a liking to because it just doesn't work consistently. So I was like, I'm not gonna use this. Last thing that I want to talk about is the camera. Oh my gosh. Coming from an iPhone 12 mini to the iPhone 15 has been a huge change and upgrade for my camera and for the photos and videos that I take. I honestly feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of what the camera can do and some of the shots that it can take, even though I've gone in and changed some of the settings to try to optimize it as much as possible. The one cool thing with the camera for the iPhone 15 that was only available on the Pro models previously is HEIF. And if you don't know what that is and you like to take photos on your camera, follow this to turn it on because it's been a game changer for me. So in your camera settings, under format and under capture, there's high efficiency mode, and that allows you to shoot basically in 48 megapixels, but not take up a huge chunk of your storage. So it's reduced file size, but with really quality 48 megapixel shots. It's great. I turn that on as much as I can, especially when I try to get something a little bit more aesthetic. The other setting that I made sure to change was switching from 12 to 24 megapixels. This means that when the camera setting is at 1x, you can take photos that are 24 megapixels, and then when you're in night or macro mode, the photos will be taken at 12 megapixels. And like I said, the shots that I've gotten on this camera versus my 12 mini has been such a huge change, and it's motivated me so much to learn a little bit more and dive deeper into what the phone camera can do, including for videos. So there's definitely some ideas for videos or reels that I want to shoot just using the camera on my iPhone rather than one of my Sony cameras, which is what I'm shooting on now. My goals for 2024 in using the iPhone camera will be to take more cinematic shots, so getting into cinematic mode on my camera settings and trying to shoot in that. When that first came out, I thought it was a really fun way to shoot videos, so that's probably what I'll be using for reels going forward. I think it's going to be a great addition to my workflow, and then also trying to take some night shots. It's something that I haven't really challenged myself to do, but I'm very interested, and I want to see what the iPhone camera can do and try to push it to its limits next year. So be sure to stay tuned, and if I find out any good information or any good tutorials, I'll definitely make some videos about that next year, because part of my channel next year is definitely going to be focused on photography and me learning how to become a better photographer, since that's been a huge passion of mine, and I want to share, and you can see the baby steps that I take next year in trying to get a little bit better. But I digress. I can talk about that for a long time, but I'll save that for a different video. Anyway guys, I hope you liked this iPhone 15 wrapped video. I wanted to make this earlier, but I thought it would be a good thing to kind of close out the year to talk about, and I hope to see you guys in 2024. What are your plans for the New Year's? I'm gonna be chilling with family, I think, and just having fun, and it'll be the first time I get to actually enjoy New Year's with my family in many, many years, and I look forward to that, and we'll definitely be taking some photos and videos on this guy. So be sure to follow me, because even if I put a short out instead of an actual video, we can at least share what we're doing for the new year. All right, guys, I'm excited for 2024 and the things to come, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy New Year, bye-bye!